Hello T-Pros, and welcome back to my IT workshop. This is Alvendril, and in this video I'm going to show you the basics of TKinter. Okay, so we are in my desktop computer, and as you can see the icons are a little bigger. I changed the resolution of my monitor so you can see better what I type, right? So before that, I'm just go to my channel, my IT workshop, and I just want to say thank you very much. The channel just reached 2,000 subscribers some hours ago. Again, I'm super happy about that. I don't know what else to say other than thank you very much for the support, subscribers, watch videos, comments, and all that. Thank you very much, guys. I have done some videos in the past about Python. You can see them there. As always, the link for the playlist is going to be in the video description below. So I have done many scripts. Well, I don't know if many, but I have done scripts in the past related to automation. So if you're interested in that, again, you can see it in the video description below. So for today, we're going to do some. I'm going to explain the basics of TKinter, and then we can do more projects. All right, more interesting projects. So for that, as always, I have my Python IDE, so where I can code. This is the regular one that you download from the Python website. You can use any other that like PyCharm or it is PyCharm or PyCharm, one of those, or Visual Studio maybe. I just use this one because it's the easiest one to get, and everybody can have it, right? So the first thing we have to do is, well, TKinter is a graphical interface tool that allows you to do windows like this. You can have buttons, you can do labels, you can do many interesting things. So we're going to learn how to use the basics. So for that, the first thing you have to do is call the library or import the library from TKinter. Import star, which means everything, like a database. And the next thing is root. This is just a variable. You can call it anything that you may like, but the common convention is just to call it root. You can call it cable. You can call it anything that you may like, but you have to keep that consistent during all the code. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So root, capital T, K, parentheses, and then what this does is it creates the window, a window like you are seeing right now. So it creates that. And the other thing that you need is at the end of the code, root main loop parentheses. So what this line of code does is it keeps the window open. So like here, this window is going to be open until I click X, right? So that's what this line does. So these are the three basic things that you need for any TKinter command that you are doing in Python. Okay, so now we're going to start coding. So I'm going to first create a label. So a label is something like this. You see all this here, TKinter basic PY and all that, that's a label. So we're going to create something like that. So I create a variable, create label. So this is again just a variable. You can call it anything that you may like, right? I'm just going to call it create label. And then we go capital L label. This is a TKinter command. So that's why we need to call the library. Otherwise this is not going to work. So label root and the text that you want to show. And I want to show my IT workshop, the name of the channel. So I'm going to create one more. I'm sorry. And the next step is to actually show this text on the screen. All right. So if I run it like this, it's going to look as follows. So run module. I'm sorry, the Windows is being open in my other monitor. So it looks like this. So what all this line of code is doing is showing this, okay? So now nothing is here, as you can see, it's useless. I'm going to close it. And now we're going to actually make this, my IT workshop text show on the window. So I'm going to copy this, create label, and that back. So that's a command for TKinter to actually make the text be shown on the window. So I'm going to save it, run module. Again, I'm sorry for that. I have to bring it from the other screen, and it looks like this, my IT workshop, right? So pretty cool. So now we're going to create 2 more labels so you get the idea. And I'm just going to copy this because we need it that way, like that. And we're going to name this create label 1 and create label 2. So we're going to change this as well so we don't make mistakes. I know it looks like 11, but it's just L and 1. So label root, I'm going to change it for YouTube channel. And here we're going to put subscribe. So we save it, we run it again, and allow me again to bring it from my other monitor. And it looks like this, my IT workshop, YouTube channel, subscribe. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to, as you can see, as you have noticed, I'm going to do it again. As you have noticed, every time that you issue a new label, it's going to be positioned below the last label, right? So my IT workshop was the first one, then my YouTube channel, then subscribe. So it's showing one below the other. So that's okay, but what if we don't want that? What if we have 100 labels? Maybe it's an exaggeration, but what if we have 20 labels? Each one is going to be under the other. So we don't like that. Maybe we want one here, one here, one here, one here, right? So 5 per column. And to do that, we have another tool that we can use inside of TKinter. So, but before that, the 2 steps to show a label is we create a label like this, and then we put the label on the window. So we create the label, and then we put it inside the window. So there are 2 steps to do it. As you can see, we do the same for any label that we may find, all right? So now we are going to, before that, I want to show you this. So this is a grid. We're going to use the grid function. So this is a regular grid. And by default, TKinter, when you start doing labels or buttons that we're going to do in a few more minutes, is going to put the first label or button in position 0, 0. So computers start counting at 0. As you can see here, we have n columns, and we have n rows, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and columns. So TKinter, as you have seen, it places any label in position 0, 0 by default. Then if you don't tell it where to place the next one, it's going to do it like this, like this, like this. Okay, so now what we are going to do with the grid function is we can tell TKinter, okay, place the first one here, and the second one here, the third one here, or maybe here. Okay, so we're going to do the parameters. We're going to give it row and column. All right, so this is just for you to visualize it, how it is going to work. So now we are going to, instead of using pack, I'm going to use grid. So grid, and we're going to give the row equal to something, and the column equal to something. So we're going to do what it does by default, 0, 0, and we're going to copy paste this over here. And now we are going to do row 0 is okay, but we're going to change the column. It's going to go to column 1. And this guy over here can be below. There is no real problem with that. So it's going to go in row, oh no, it has to go on row 1, row 1, column 0. So I'm going to save it and see what it shows. So allow me a few seconds and I'm going to show it to you here. So as you can see, we now can decide where this one is going to be placed. So my IT workshop is in column 0, row 0 here, but my YouTube channel is now next to it. It's not below anymore. And subscribe is below below my IT workshop. It's in the same column but different rows. And there is something that doesn't work pretty well. As you can see here, this is how it looks. I'm going to close it. What if we want to do it to print subscribe in row 1 is okay. Let's say row 5. And column, we can do it in column 2, I think. No, column 1. Let's see what happens. We run it, and again, it's going to look like this. So we can work like that. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. We can change, we can position the labels and buttons wherever we want, but there is a caveat. So if I go, this is the caveat. I'm going to change it to column 5, for example. So I'm going to run it again. We run it, and as you can see here, even though I told TKinter to print it in row 5, we know this one is not row 5, it's row 1. It's not going to do it unless the row 4, 3, 2, and 1 already have something on it or in it. So that's why it's not understanding what I want to do. It's just going to do it on the next available row, even though we tell them row 5. For column, as you can see, we know this is column 0, 1. This should be 3, 4, 5. But it does the same. It's not going to do it. It's just going to go to the next available column where there is nothing yet. Okay, so that's the caveat you have to understand. You cannot print it here. To do that, you will have to print blank spaces. So you can reach to column 10, for example, or 5. So I just wanted to let you know that. But that's what we can do. So we're going to type this back to what it was. So it's going to be row 1, column, no, 1 is okay. No, 0 is okay. So that looks a little better. Now we are going to change a few things. So we can make it bigger because the letters maybe are a little small. So I'm going to change the subscribe button to be a little bigger. So here, comma, and I can go path X. That's all that is a TKinter. Let's say 20. And all this can be like this. There is no problem. This can be closer. And path Y is going to be 20 as well. So let's see how this looks. We save it and we're going to run it. So it's not, oh, where is it? Oh, I'm going to close it again. Yeah, I want to kill that. And it's not really doing it for some reason. So maybe it needs space. Let's check it out. Path Y, path X. So we run it. Yes, I want to save it. And now, give a second. Now, as you can see, it looks like it went a little lower, right? Before it was like here. So what this does, it makes the label a little taller and wider. So if I change this to, let's say, 50, we're going to see it a little bigger. Not the letters, just the box. So I'm going to bring it here, and as you can see, it now looks bigger, right? It looks like it's like in row, I don't know, 7 or something, but it's just because of this, right? So I'm going to make this a little bigger so we can see better. And now we can change the font. So comma font equal like that. And I'm going just to choose Arial, which is the type of font, the size 12, and I want it to be bold. So let's see what happens. Then if we go back, so I want to make sure it fits. Yeah, it fits. I save it, I'm going to run it again, and now this is how it looks. So you can see that the letters are bigger, 12, Arial, now they are bold. You can also use the other one, italics. If you put italics, it's going to be like tilted, so in some degree. So you can see that is working. So I'm going to change this just to 20 because 50 is maybe too big. So we're going to change it like that. And we can add this to all of our buttons here. So we can do this like that and like that. So we run it again and everything should be changed. What did I do here? Create label, grid. What is the problem here? Bold, column 0, row 0. Oh, what's the problem? I didn't read it. Invalid syntaxes. Why? Why not? I'm missing something. Bold. Oh yeah, of course. I'm missing parentheses, and here also I'm missing a parenthesis. So I save it again, and we're going to run it. So it looks like this now. Okay, label. So that's how can you cancel. So that's how you can change the labels. Now, what the next step? Oh, one more thing. I forgot. So I printed, and it looks like this, right? So what if I only have these 3, and even though this is below subscribe is under my IT workshop, I wanted to make it the whole size. So I want to occupy these 2 columns. So we can do that as well. So for subscribe, since it's the only label that is alone on row 1, we can do the next. We put comma. Oh no, that doesn't have to go there. It has to go here. Column span equals 2. So you're going to see what this does. So we do it, and it looks like this. So I'm telling label 2, I'm going to make it a little bigger because due to the size is not showing everything. So I'm telling label 2, which is subscribe, to take 2 columns. Instead of only taking 1, which is by default, it's going to take 2. So it looks a little better in my opinion, right? So we run it again, and it looks like this. So I mean, in my opinion, it's more presentable, and you can do it the way that you want it to look. So I'm going to close this, and that's how you play with buttons, with labels. Oh, you can also change the color. We might do that in another video, but you can do it as well. So next, we're going to create buttons. So the beauty of buttons is that you can click on them, right? Like this button over here, I can click it, I can make it bigger, I can make it disappear or something. So for that, we are going to turn this into buttons. All right. So I'm going to just put like this. We are going to comment on these guys. No, better yet, I'm going to do it like that. We come here. So all this is not going to be shown in the next. When we execute the command, it's going to ignore everything that is between these quotations. Now we are going to do buttons. So for that, I'm going to just copy this, create a label, but instead of label, I'm going to call it button. So for that, we call the function button, which is also TKinter. And we kind of do the same. It's root text my IT workshop, and we can copy this over here. Boom. And then we can also copy the same thing over here. So we're going to technically copy paste the same, and we're going to see what happens. So we save it, we run it, and it's not showing anything because I forgot the next command, which is grid. So we copy this over here, and instead of label, it's going to be create button, as you know, and that is going to be. So let's say my IT workshop run. Yes, I want to save it, and this is how it looks. So you can see there is kind of a frame around this that it wasn't there before. So I can click it, right? It doesn't do anything, of course, but you can click it now. So we're going to do the same. For this, we're going to copy all these guys here, and we're going to just change the name. So it's going to be create button 2, well, 1. So we change this, and the grid and row is going to be find YouTube channel, and we're also going to copy this guy over here. And these ones are going to be create button 2 and the grid. So I'm going to run it and let's see what happens. So as you can see here, it's showing it like this. Oh, why is it not doing it? Create button. Oh, of course, I forgot the button. I'm still using label. So we copy this and we're going to save it. And now it looks like this. So IT Workshop, YouTube channel, subscribe. Okay. Talking about subscribing, this is a good time for you to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. So now we have the buttons. But what is a button if when you click on it, it doesn't do anything? So it's kind of useless, but it looks cool though. So you can do it that way. Now we're going to make the button more, let's say, clickable. Okay. Well, not clickable. I mean, when you click on it, it's going to do something. So we close this, and we are only going to do it for the subscribe button because it's the only one that really does something. And for that, we have to add one more variable, if you will, one more command. So every button, when you want a button to do something in TKinter, it has to be attached to a function. Okay. So for that, we are going to type the command, and is going to be called print. So we have to create this. Why this is not between parentheses or quotation marks? Because that's not a text. It's a variable that we're going to use. So for that, we have to go to the beginning. Let's make it a little bigger. We have to go here. Or we can get rid of this as well, but we're going to leave it there. So we are going to define the function. Just make it a little bigger. So it's going to be def print. And we have the function, and then we're going to create a label inside, okay? Not inside. So when I click this button, I want it to say you are subscribed now or something like that. Okay, so we are going to create a label. So we can use this variable. We're going to use another just for you to see. I'm going to use new label. This is just a variable equal to label, which is the function of TKinter to print labels. Label, and we're going to do the same. Root text, and the text is going to be you are now subscribed, right? And here we're going to see something more. I'm going to change the color. So to change the color of the font, you have to type like the FG. I forgot what it means, but it's FG and the color that you want. Let's make it blue, okay? Blue. Come on, it's not W, it's blue. And again, new label. It's going to, new label grid. I forgot. Grid. Fine. And we're going to go to row. What is the row? Row number 1. So it has to be in row number 2. Then the column is going to be series, okay, and that's it. So let's see how it looks. We save it, we run it, there is an error. Command equal print. Why is that an error? So create button, font, print. Why is it? How did I make that mistake? It's inside of our font, so I didn't see that. So I copy paste, I cut this. This has to be like this. And then we close. By the way, it doesn't make a difference if you put it here. Let's say command besides the root, doesn't make a difference. So I'm just doing it the way I'm doing it. This can be placed or at the end, it doesn't make a difference, okay? So we save it, I believe everything is okay now. And we have the same, these two don't do anything. If I click subscribe, you are now subscribed, so that's great. But this one is a little skew. You can see it that is kind of in column 0. So to make it more centered below subscribe, we can do the same that we did for the bottom. So we are going to copy this one and paste it here. Okay, so column span equal to run module, and you see it here. So subscribe, these two don't do anything, and when you click subscribe, you're now subscribed. So now it looks more, it looks better, I would say, and the letter color is blue. So for that, we can also make it a little bigger. Column span 2, and we would have to copy all this. Bold, Arial, and let's make it 15, okay? Bold, Arial. Can I change to times? I don't know if that's how you type times for the letter. Let's see if it works. These two don't do anything, subscribe, and it doesn't do it. So it's not Arial. We're going to use just Arial. Arial. So you get the point. You can change to maybe it's New Times Roman, Times New Roman. I don't remember exactly what the name is. But you can change the font to any available font in TKinter, which is normally the ones that you have in Microsoft Word or Google Docs. I don't remember any other font right now, but that's how can you do it. So we change it to 15. Let's make it 20 to see how it looks. We save it, we run it, and we have it here. These don't do anything. Subscribe. Why is not doing it? Draw, span, or sticky. Why is not doing it? Maybe it's too big. Font, Arial. Let's make it 15 again, or 12. Arial 12, bold. That should be enough. Save it. Run module. We have it here. It's going to give us an error, but new label row. Where did we put this? Oh yeah, you see the mistake I made. It's in the wrong place. It's in the wrong place. It has to be up. It has to be here. Blue. We do it like this, and now it should work. Save it, and then we run it. We see it here. Subscribe. You are now subscribed. So that's how it looks. We can also change the color of these buttons that are not doing anything. And that. So one thing, at the beginning is very confusing in my opinion when you are doing this and you don't know where these guys go. Like, where do I change the color? Do I change it here when I creating the label or when I attach the label? So that's the things at the beginning that got confused, but as you practice, that's very obvious. So you don't, like you have seen a few seconds ago, I made the same mistake, but what you can do about it. So now that we have done that, these are the basics. There are more things to do. I just want to show you what we're going to do in the next video. Where is this guy over here? So I'm going to just copy paste it. So this is a GUI I made, and this is what we're going to do in the next video. So I open it, and it looks like this. So it gives you the username of the computer, the user that is logged to the computer. So in my case is Alvendril, that's me. It gives you the computer name, which is this computer. Yes, very, very creative. It gives you the IP address for the computer right now, and the MAC, the IP address, the subnet mask, and the default gateway. And also gives you the serial number of the computer. In my case, it doesn't give you a number because this computer, I built it myself. So that's why it doesn't have a serial number. But if it's a Dell, HP, Lenovo, any other brand, you're going to see a number here. Okay, so we're going to do this app in the future video. Okay, so maybe now you want to watch these two videos over here. Maybe you like them. And the video for the future is going to be in the video description below. So thank you very much for watching, guys. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any other comment or questions, leave it in the comment section below. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.